Hi, this is Jeff Kidd, sports editor at the Island Packet. Some of you might remember me as the former sports editor at the Beaufort Gazette, but I come to you today wearing a little bit different hat, that of international traveler. I turned 38 years old on Thursday, and it took me that long, almost that long, to get out of the country. But I just returned from my first trip abroad to the Central American nation of Costa Rica. Went with my wife, Debbie, who's a school teacher, a social studies teacher at Beaufort High School. But this wasn't an ordinary vacation for a couple of reasons. One, I knew when I came back I wanted to do this presentation for the readers of the Packet and the Gazette to see the things that we did and the sights that we saw. There was a second reason too, and that is that we weren't alone. We had in tow 23 high school age students, most of them from Beaufort High, and also Debbie's co-worker, Kathy Pitt, who was a biology teacher at Beaufort High, and her husband, who's also named Jeff. Together, my wife and Kathy served as the group directors, and Jeff and I were chaperones on a trip conducted by EF Tours and our tour guide, Jose Rojas, who did an incredible job for us. We saw a lot of the country in an 11-day trip. We visited both coasts, the capital city of San Jose, and a great diversity of geographic and environmental regions. Costa Rica is only about the size of West Virginia, but within that relatively small area of land, there's a tremendous diversity of flora and fauna, geological formations. I mean, you go from sea level to about 6,000 feet above sea level. You run the gamut from cloud forest to tropical dry forest to tropical rainforest. You can see the sunrise on the Caribbean, and the next day see the sunset on the Pacific coast. My original plan was to give you a day-by-day, blow-by-blow account of all the things we did, but on a 12-day trip, I got back and discovered I'd taken about 1,000 pictures, and decided that even spending 30 seconds a day was going to make this run kind of long and probably challenge the download speed on your computer. So I decided instead we're just going to do a little photo slideshow here, and I'll tell you a little bit about the highlights. You're going to see monkeys, you're going to see butterflies, the blue morphos that Costa Rica is renowned for. You'll see toucans, caimans, American crocodiles. We went horseback riding and zip lining, and you'll also see a lot of outtakes from a very touching part of the trip that to me was to a very small, very humble elementary school as we traveled to Monteverde. It was about a 1 hour, 1 hour and a half visit to the school children there. Did some native folk dances for us, and we returned the favor by doing the chicken dance. I think they probably got the raw end of that deal, but that was a really nice opportunity to intermingle with some native Costa Ricans, not just the people who were trying to sell us something, or the people in the hotel, who were very nice. Don't mean that derisively at all, but it is their job to accommodate to tourists. At the school, we saw the Costa Ricans as they live, and we're reminded that this is a developing country, and still has a ways to go. That said, there was a lot that American would be familiar with. A lot of the signage was in 2 languages, and sometimes in 1 language in English. Most of the merchants, even the street vendors, spoke pretty good English, so you could get around quite well. The water is potable, and there's like I said, an abundance of things to see in nature. This was not really a sightseeing trip in a sense of a lot of history, but very much kind of an eco tour, and that part of the tourism is really gained a strong foothold in Costa Rica, as has an American presence there. Several things about the country. First, it has enjoyed historically a lot more political stability than some of its Central American neighbors. It's bordered to the north by Nicaragua and to the south by Panama. Both have had their shares, their run-ins with dictators, etc. But Costa Rica has lived a relatively peaceful existence since its independence from Spain back in the early part of the 19th century. Hasn't had a standing army since the 1950s, and a lot of their money has gone into developing their national parks system. So I hope you enjoy the show, at least a fraction of as much as I enjoyed the trip. Thanks.